So the first thing I just want to highlight is the fact that Christian put makeup on today. Can we just... So I'm going to try and make this video short, but it is a video in collaboration with VLoves. Hopefully they'll still let me collab with them. I'm a little behind, but I was going to do this video anyway, and then I saw that I was part of this collaboration group and they were doing it, so I was like, hey, why not? So I'm going to go ahead and share my birth story of Kaidence Harmony Sardis. And while I go ahead and tell the story, I'm also going to add a little of the clips that I have. I don't have a lot. My husband did a lot of the recording because I just wasn't here. I wasn't here for it. I was not a participant except for actually pushing the child out. I really wasn't a participant in the filming or the vlogging of this child being born. So it was August the 1st, and my mucus plug had already came out. If you are a mom and you know how the birth story goes, they say when the mucus plug comes out of your body, that in the next week to 2 weeks you're supposed to be delivering. Okay, I think that's what I researched the last time I had a kid. This situation really made me feel like I don't want to have any more kids. So for me to be actually creating another life as we speak is preposterous to me, and hopefully this time around it won't be as bad. It was August the 1st. And I woke up and I was really, really crampy. And my husband, at the time, he had a job where he didn't have to go in until noon. So he would spend all mornings with me, and it would be so great because we would usually get up at like 8 or something and just eat breakfast together, read the Bible together or something. I had a doctor's appointment on this day anyway. I had a doctor's appointment for like 9 o'clock this day. And I woke up and it was like 6:30. And I woke up and I was really crampy. And I was like, I'm cramping, like my period is about to come. And this was the first time I had felt these cramps since this pregnancy. I was like, man, I'm cramping, like my period is about to come. And I was like, babe, I'm worried. So I went to the restroom, you know, like a normal fat pregnant woman does, like 6 times, 7 times a day. I went to the restroom and I looked in TMI. I looked in my underwear and it was like this pink fluid. Like it wasn't any consistency. It was just like a pink stain in my underwear. And I was like, babe, I think I don't know what's going on. I'm staining a little bit. I went to the restroom and then I looked in the toilet and it was like stained, cloudy pink stuff, you know. And I was worried. And my husband was like, well, I mean, and the cramps were like starting to get worse. So I'm thinking that they were like somewhat like contractions, because it wasn't really, it was more tight than it was painful. So I was crampy, but then there would be surges of tightness in my belly to where my stomach would tense up, and it was like a rock. My stomach was like a rock, and then it would release. So it was like the beginning of contractions. And my husband was like, well, you have a doctor's appointment at 9:30 today anyway, so why don't you let's go ahead and get up and get ready, because if you're having contractions and you're leaking fluid, let's go ahead and prepare to be in the hospital just in case they tell us something. And I'm so glad we did that, because we ended up going to Walmart. There was a couple things that I need to get. I was 39 and 1, so I wasn't really expecting. I was expecting it, but I wasn't really like all the way packed. I guess I should have packed a little bit more. But we went to Walmart and we got some more blankets and burping cloths and all that stuff. So we had everything for Kaidence. And Fago had went to go pull up the car from Walmart, and I walked out of the Walmart parking lot and had a contraction in the Walmart parking lot. So I'm standing in the middle of Walmart parking lot, just sitting there like, hold on. And I'm just grabbing my stomach, hold on. And then people are driving past me like, are you okay? I'm like, I think the baby's coming today. But my husband is pulling up right now, and they parked and stayed with me until he pulled up. That was really nice of them. So we ended up going to the doctor's appointment, and it was around the time, once you hit a certain mark in your pregnancy, of course, you guys know, you start going weekly. So this was just my regular weekly appointment. It was on a Thursday, August the 1st, 2013. And I was walking in, and we went and got everything set up for the appointment. And I told her what was going on with me. And she checked me out, and she was like, well, your cervix is still really hard. There's no dilation or anything, but your amniotic sac is ruptured. You have a tear in your amniotic sac. So there is a tear in the bubble that Kaidence is in. So we're going to have to go ahead and send you over to labor and delivery. and get you all set up, because if the amniotic sac is ruptured, it's gonna have to be somewhat of an induction. We're gonna have to go ahead and induce you. So we went in, and it was like, after everything was done, we ended up in the delivery room, in the delivery room at like 10 in the morning on Thursday. So they hooked me up and everything, and they gave me something called Cervidil. They were gonna lay this little flat thing next to my cervix to soften it. So they put that on next to my cervix for like 12 hours, and I started feeling a lot of pain. So they were like, we can't give you an epidural because you haven't dilated, so we're gonna give you this just intravenous painkiller, and it was like a morphine type thing, and they gave it to me, and I felt really, really nice. I felt good, but then I started hallucinating, and then my skin started itching, and it was terrible. And like, I had to wait the whole 12 hours. I was like, don't give me any more medicine. I don't care. I just have to deal with this. So I was hurting for about 12 hours, and then around 10 in the evening the next day, they weren't going to give me my epidural until like midnight. So they gave me my epidural because I started dilating and everything. No, they gave me the Cervidil. My cervix was softened. So then they went in and they started giving me Pitocin. So when Pitocin started happening, that's when the contractions started happening. And I was like, y'all not giving me no more of that crazy medicine. I couldn't sleep. I've been itching. It's terrible. Like, I had footage. I'm going to have to plug the footage in here. You want to do the back now? I'll do the back now.
There's no cancel the snooze.
Hit snooze in an office.
Oh, ice
This is
chip.
5?
Yes.
It only works when the massage is going on. Afterwards, it's like fire on my skin.
That's unfortunate. It's because it's all of them drugs. Drug combo.
You know,
Drug combo mambo.
You get that euphoria at the beginning, but then all of a sudden you crawling out the skin. Crawling out the skin.
Let's not use that word crawl. It's a terrible word.
That's that
I wonder if like real drug fiends skin be itchy.
Yeah, you always see
Yeah.
them scratching.
Ray Charles was scratching like a mud.
You always
You
scratching.
ever see Ashley Larry people doing it?
Especially
Yeah.
yeah. You always scratching.
Like they really be, they skin be.
Man, they use fentanyl. They use fentanyl to cut heroin.
Really?
Yeah.
That's why people be itching.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
So then, they finally give me the epidural, and okay, I'm like, okay, this is smooth sailing. So I'm chilling. I'm still itching a little bit. So epidural is working, but then it stops. It stops working. Like, I'm starting to feel my legs again, and I'm clicking the button, and nothing is happening. And these contractions are having me in tears. I'm in tears. And I'm like, call the nurse, something isn't right. Come to find out that the line of my medicine for my epidural was so stretched so thin. I don't know how it happened. I guess I was tossing and turning too much to where the line where the medicine was supposed to come in was stretched so thin that no medicine was coming to me. So they had to repair the epidural line in order for the medicine to come to me. So I was having full contractions for the majority of my labor. So then when I got about 6 or 7 centimeters, the epidural was going well. So we were just waiting, just tick-tock waiting. And I have some footage of us just waiting here.
We got it back.
Oh.
There is seeming to be some more pressure.
Hey, you're not gonna
Seeming
call me back, are you?
pressure, and
What was that about?
6 centimeters dilated, and
Oh, okay.
they're gonna check her again in about
That's all right.
30 minutes to see where we're
I
at.
was trying to take a picture.
But they're talking like it's gonna be push time in like 2 hours, maybe 2-3 hours.
Hey man, I'm busy.
So I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty sure a lot of people here are pretty excited. We've been here for about,
Going through.
10 o'clock yesterday. It's 3:30 now, so 28, 29 hours. So she's ready to be done.
And around 4 o'clock, more like 4:50, it was time to push. And I pushed for about an hour, and surprisingly, the pushing part was okay. They were worried, so they kind of upped the Pitocin a little further at the beginning of the story. They upped the Pitocin really quickly because her temperature started rising, and I was strep positive, and they did not want the strep in my system to get into her system. So they kind of sped it up. So the Pitocin part started to speed everything along, so everything started moving quickly. And when it was time to push, it was time to push.
9.5 centimeters, and it's about to go down. How you feeling, Becky?
I don't know.
They got you up here. It's ready time.
She was 6 pounds, 8 ounces, and she had a fever when she came out. And we were really worried. And so they wrapped her up and they gave her to me. And I started checking her out, and she was struggling to breathe. It was difficult for her to breathe. It was difficult for her to catch her breath. And so I was like, yeah, guys, I think you guys need to check her out. They checked her out, and she was only getting like 30% oxygen to her body. She had a lung infection for being in there for so long with a ruptured sac. Even though we tried to get her out in a quick amount of time, it wasn't quick enough, and the strep B had gotten into her amniotic sac, and she had got a lung infection. So right after she was born, she was rushed to the ICU and was put in a hood. I couldn't even hold I held her one time, and then I didn't hold her again for another like 2 days because she was protected in this hood because she had this infection and was only getting 30% oxygen to her body. This is where it gets worse, okay? This is where it gets worse. So I'm like, oh man, okay, the baby is out. All I want is some Taco Bell. Just give me a number 3, which is 3 soft tacos. And I said, make them hard. 3 supreme tacos and a drink. That's all I want. I just want a number 3. So my mom brought me a number 3. It gave me food poisoning. So here I am, just pushed the baby out, and I got torn. So I had stitches, and I had food poisoning. So they already say that your first BM is going to be difficult. I was throwing up and pooping at the same time because I had food poisoning, on top of the fact that my daughter was in the ICU and I couldn't hold her. So because of the traumatic birth story that I had, thankfully she's healthy now. You guys have seen her on my vlog. She's perfectly fine. But it was terrifying. It was a terrifying situation and scary to the point where I was like, I don't even know if I want to have any more kids. So I pray that this time around, with this second one that's coming, it's a lot easier. And I actually go through a natural, I hope that I can go through a natural process to where my water naturally breaks. My cervix naturally knows what to do to where I don't have to get induced. I don't want to be induced to the point where I don't really know what's going on, you know. I hope I didn't scare anybody, but that was my crazy birth story. We were in the hospital from the 2nd, which Kaidence was born on August the 2nd, so my labor was about 36 hours, but we didn't make it home to August 14th because she was in the ICU for 12 days. I pray that it doesn't scare you guys, but I just ask you guys, you know, be aware of your body, you know, and then don't beat yourself up if you can't control what happens, because everybody, I'm a planner. I like to plan stuff out. I like to have stuff put together, but sometimes it don't work like that. And I think God has a sense of humor to just remind us that we literally only can control ourselves, our situation so much, and he reminds us that he's the sovereign God and he's in control over everything. So even if I didn't want to have a kid, if it was in his plans, which clearly it is, then I'm going to have another kid. And I pray that he's sovereign and merciful and graceful enough to where this time is not as difficult and this baby doesn't get an infection or anything. So that is my labor and delivery story, my birth story. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it was a little lengthy video. I love sitting and talking. It's so good. It's my favorite thing to do. So please like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.